Well, President Trump is coming off an up and down week. First, his address to Congress was well received. Then the Trump campaign's alleged connections to Russia took center stage. Occidental College professor Caroline Heldman joins us now live. Carolyn, thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Amy.
So let's start out with the Sessions and the Russia fallout.
So Jeff Sessions apparently perjured himself before the Senate committee during his confirmation, where he was asked what he would do if people had connections with Russia from the campaign, and his response was, "I have not had these connections." And we've now come to find out that twice during the campaign he did meet with Russian officials, and in fact once at least it was on the dime of the campaign. So there have been all of these calls, right, from mostly from folks on the left or Democrats saying that he needs to step down, he needs to resign. Now he has recused himself from any investigations in Russia, but a lot of folks are saying this is not enough. And even folks from his own party are saying, now calling for an independent investigator into the Russian connections, because they keep coming up. And while, you know, there's a lot of smoke in the room, no fire, a lot of folks are saying this room is getting really smoky. We need to get to the bottom of this.
Yes. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the address on Tuesday and how things went.
I think that he did a fantastic job. This is a new President Trump. We have not seen this before. He didn't go after the press. He didn't attack anyone. He talked about unity and American exceptionalism. And in fact, one poll taken shortly after from viewers who saw it said 7 in 10 said, yes, it made me more optimistic about the country. Now, flip, you know, his pivot lasted, 4 days. This morning, he tweeted that claiming that President Obama had wiretapped Trump Tower, which, if he can't back those claims up, becomes a libelous claim. And it appears to be based upon some speculation from, you know, the fake news site Breitbart. And so he's back to his kind of loose cannon tactics. So the pivot didn't last long. And in fact, his own staff didn't know that he would be making these claims this morning. So we're back to the old Donald Trump.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, you know, his plans to build up the military and, of course, build that wall. I mean, that's a lot of money for both of those ideas.
And the estimate runs about $20 billion. He has proposed a budget, an increase in military spending of 9%, so $54 billion. We in the United States already spend as much on our military as the next 8 countries. Typically, when you see such a large increase, it would be in response to something. We are not responding to a threat or a war. So this is an unusual increase. And in fact, he's already received a lot of pushback from, of course, Democrats, but also Republicans, people in his own party, because it means that there will be deep cuts in domestic programs, as he has stated, and so far we've seen a proposed cut for the Environmental Protection Agency. But it also means that we're going to be running large deficits, and right now we're running about an estimated $500 billion deficit, and his plan does not address that. In fact, it adds to the problem. So there's a real chance for a government shutdown over this.
And now there's more talk about emails, but this time it's not Hillary Clinton's, it's Mike Pence.
And you know, maybe Mike Pence's biggest crime is that he still has an AOL account. So Mike Pence, when he was the governor of Indiana, used private email for state business, and he was hacked. So what's interesting about this is that nothing he did was illegal. What is also interesting is that nothing that Hillary Clinton did was illegal, because the law saying that you couldn't use a private server for what she was doing in the State Department didn't pass until 18 months after she left office. So I find this fascinating. Both of them made a very poor decision. The decision was not illegal. One ends up potentially, you know, costing a candidate the presidency, and the other is now being dismissed by the same folks who went after Hillary Clinton. At the end of the day, they both did the same thing. It wasn't illegal. It wasn't unethical. Even it might have been a poor decision, but they were held to very different standards.
Yeah. All right, Caroline, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We always appreciate your insight.